Capitalism is literally the root of all evil because it's programmed us to think that we have to do so much to survive in this world.
Why the fuck does nobody care that our planet is literally being destroyed?
The only way out of a life of mediocrity is for you to make more money. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. We were all born into a capitalist society. It's like a game.
Something is deeply wrong here in America, okay? Because we live in the richest country in human history. That's what they say, right? And yet millions of people here are one medical bill, one missed paycheck, or even one rent increase away from financial collapse, right? That contradiction isn't on accident. It's the outcome of a economic system that prioritizes profit over people. And then they tell people that if they're struggling, it's their fault. That system is capitalism as it's practiced in modern America. Now, before someone jumps in here and says that, like, hey, capitalism has lifted, people out of poverty, right? That's true historically, right? Market economics created massive growth, that is true. But here's the part that no one wants to talk about. Growth for who? Who is it growing for? Because what we're living under right now isn't some abstract free market. It's hyper-financialized, late-stage capitalism, where corporations aren't just selling products, they are extracting value from every corner of your life. Because your housing nowadays is an asset class. Your healthcare is some kind of revenue stream for these people, and even your attention is monetized. And most importantly, your exhaustion, your mental health is profitable to these people. Work harder, they say, be more productive, hustle, optimize, and grind, and you'll get there, right? But at the same time, wages have stagnated. The cost of living has absolutely exploded. It's gone through the roof, and the finish line just keeps on moving for us, right? The goalpost just keeps on moving. In America today, productivity has skyrocketed over the last few decades, but workers' pay has not kept up. The value that you create doesn't even come back to you anymore. It just flows upward. It flows upward to shareholders, executives, to financial instruments that exist mostly on spreadsheets and trading screens. And then we're told that this is just, the market. This is how it goes. They say that that's just the way it is, right? But markets are designed, right? Rules are written, incentives are chosen. It's like, who's out here choosing these? When housing becomes a commodity instead of like a human necessity, the prices rises faster than wages will. When your healthcare is run for profit, treatment becomes a transaction instead of a right. And when education is financialized by debt, learning will then become a lifelong bill instead of a public good. And that's not the failure of us as individuals, I believe. That is a system doing exactly what is incentivized to do. And it doesn't just affect your wallet, it affects your psychology too. Capitalism in America has quietly rebranded human worth as an economic output. Your value is your productivity. Your identity becomes a job title, and your burnout is literally framed as personal weakness instead of a structural outcome of a system that demands constant growth in a finite world. We think that our value is based on what we put out into this world and how productive we can be and what we do for work and all these things, which is completely crazy to me. We have normalized overworking, we have monetized stress, and we have turned survival into a competition. And then we wonder why people are out here anxious, depressed, polarized, and angry all the time. When people cannot afford stability, they don't feel invested in society. When the future feels economically closed off, politics becomes emotional, tribal, and volatile. That's not just an economic problem, that is a social stability problem. Now, to be clear with you guys, this isn't about replacing capitalism with some make-believe fantasy utopia, right? Although that would be pretty cool. The point isn't that markets are inherently evil. The point is that unchecked profit maximizing systems will always push forward. It will always push towards like inequality, okay? It will push towards inequality, consolidation, and exploitation unless they are constrained by strong public institutions, regulation, and democratic accountability. Now, what's destroying America now isn't capitalism in a textbook sense, but it's the version of capitalism that's been optimized for corporate power instead of human well-being.
I want you to do this thing for me.
No, I don't want to do that.
I'll pay you money.
Oh, I don't care about money. I'm an artist.
Ha! I'm going to increase the cost of everything. You need those things to live. How are you going to pay for them?
Okay, I'll take some of that money.
Oh, well, I won't keep giving you that money if you don't do it all the time for me. And I'm only going to give you a little bit of money. Yes, I mean all the time. Like 40 to 60 plus hours a week.
Oh, okay. What do you want me to do, I guess?
The reality is some people have to be left behind. Personally, I'm done explaining to people why capitalism does not benefit the common person. If people want to continue to worship celebrities and the 1%, there is nothing that we're going to do at this point to stop them. It is genuinely mind-boggling to me how many people are okay with the status quo when if we all work together, all of our lives could be so much better. I blame a lot of this on mass consumerism and hyper-individualism within American culture, but regardless, I just think some people are blinded by the reality that we live in. I also think that a lot of this obedience comes from the fact that people think that they'll be able to reach the 1% if they do what they're supposed to do. Also, some people are just genuinely unempathetic and couldn't care less whether or not life got better for the common person. But for those who genuinely do care and want to make the world a better place, we have to start putting our money where our mouth is. We can't continue to support corporations and individuals who genuinely go against our best interest.
Capitalism is literally the root of all evil because it's programmed us to think that we have to do so much to survive in this world, right? The grind, the hustle. Can we put it to rest? Seen a video of this dude crashing out. Very valid, by the way. He said that in our society, you owe $200 to 20 different people, entities, corporations every month, right? When does it fucking stop? At the end of the video, he was like, but if you fuck that up, if you don't keep track of all of the payments that you owe for no fucking reason, you then go to jail. There is definitely a difference between working hard and striving towards like you wanting more in life. You want to be a millionaire. There's a level of grind and hustle that's gonna have to happen versus having to grind your fucking ass off just to simply survive and pay your bills. Insurance, scam, right? Paying for something month over month and never getting into an accident, let's say your car insurance, and you get an accident one time out of 7 years, your insurance goes up and you have to pay. How come I haven't accumulated some level of balance? What the fuck are we talking about? Every day it feels like there's a new bill. Every day more debt, every day more money extracted from a bank account. Don't even get me started on how much everything fucking costs. It just continues and continues to increase. We're tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
The only way out of a life of mediocrity is for you to make more money. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. We were all born into a capitalist society. It's like a game. If you say, I want to opt out of the game, cool, but you're still playing. You still have a W-2. You're still working for a big conglomerate company. You're still working to push forth the dreams and the goals of other people's families, bro. The work that you're doing, the work that your parents did, the work that your grandparents did, if it was not for your family, it was for somebody else's family. They paid you for your stored energy and time to push forward their family's agenda and their family's dream. That is the game. So if you want to complain and you want to opt out of the game, just keep working for everybody else's dreams and let them take control of your life. If you want to take control of your own life and build your own family legacy, you got to put some points on the scoreboard. You got to make a whole bunch of money because that money is going to be a whole lot of stored energy and time of other human beings so that you get a lot of your stored energy and time back. You don't have to waste it. You could pay somebody else to cut your grass. You could pay somebody else to clean your crib. You could pay somebody else to clean your car, whatever it may be. The more money you have, you can pay employees to work at your company to make more money. So now your company's valued at a higher amount and you can go sell it. Who knows what you could do? But you have to make the money. You have to connect with the right people. You have to put yourself in position to escape the life of mediocrity. Or just keep complaining and work towards somebody else's goals, bro. It's up to you, bro.
Capitalism will never sit right with me. I don't care. I don't care. We are literally slaves to a planet that was given to us for free. So you telling me that humans had the creative freedom to create life however they wanted and they chose this shit? Paying to live is actually insane. I don't give a fuck how normal society try to make it. Working until you on your deathbed, paying for natural resources like food, water, shelter. I can go on and on, but it's like being alive isn't enough. It literally costs to live. You have to literally earn the right to be human and exist. You are literally valuable as a productive worker than as a human being. Like, you can't even enjoy life. Everything is literally monetized. Like the way you live, your hobbies, your emotions, your passions, everything costs. All of these societal constructions is literally disconnecting us from the earth and our souls. Our souls are literally craving to explore life, but we can't even do it. Well, we can, but we got to go through all these hardships just to do it. If you can't see what the fuck is going on right now, bro, then I don't know, twin. I don't know, because, bro, like, the proof is in the pudding. We're not supposed to be doing this shit. We spend more time surviving and overworking our bodies than embracing life. And it's like, bro, they literally finding more unnecessary ways to make it harder for us to live. What's sad is a lot of people is literally brainwashed to think that this is the way we're supposed to live life. Like, they can't fathom life outside of capitalism. It's to the point where when you express that this is not how life is supposed to be, they use that same weak ass excuse. There will be no structure. There will be no structure. Shut the fuck up with all that, bro. Like, that shit getting old, for real, for real. Capitalism is literally destroying the planet. Like, who said that? I said that.
I need someone to explain to me, like I am 5 years old, how it makes sense that a literal doctor who went through undergrad, medical school, years of residency, and is a full-fledged doctor, prescribed my son a life-saving medication that he needs for a diagnosis that he has received. And my insurance gets to say, no, he does not.
Tried to record this 2 or 3 times already and it went way too long. So let me try to actually explain this to you like you're 5. A long time ago, a company tried to pay their employees more. The people that own shares in that company got angry. They said, no, I want that money. You're supposed to create value for us. We don't care that creating value in your company by having well-paid, happy employees does create long-term value. You need to give me money now. The Supreme Court decided that those shareholders were right. So now every single company has one purpose if they are publicly traded, and it is every single quarter to produce shareholder value. And when you do not have universal health care, when your health care is for profit, companies will do any sort of backbending, they will do any sort of cognitive dissonance, they will do any sort of logic bending to create an environment where they can massage the language to say, if we give your son this service, it is going to be a net detriment to us, so we're going to find a way to say that it's not necessary. It doesn't matter if it is or not. They're going to find a way that legally they're permitted to say that it's not necessary because your son's life is not that important when shareholder value is on the line.
I don't really respect the United States simply for the fact its culture is about measuring success through how much money somebody makes. But the system purposely keeps people poor. That's not something no, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry.
Hey, I've been in 4 multimillionaires' homes. One started with a B, billionaire. It's crazy. And I can tell you a couple facts that you may not know about these people. Just to put us on the same playing field, have you ever thought about the lifestyle of, and I saw another video bring this up, I thought the term was great, when they reach the end goal of capitalism? Do you understand what happens when they reach the end goal of capitalism? Let me explain it to you. As our society begins to understand more and more, the normal people, that, man, I miss community. Man, is this really all just about money? Man, is there anything I can do for the person to my left and to my right and across the street? You'd think that at the end of having money, that more of this would start to happen, because then you have more to be able to give, more to be able to set up the community, more to be able to give to the person on the left, the right, or across the street. But that's not quite what happens, is it? I remember specifically one home that was in, California, and this particular home sat on a mountaintop. Beautiful view. Right on the mountaintop. There was a 20-minute, I kid you not, 20-minute, because you got to go slow through some part, driveways to get to this house. It was wild. He worked a job that he only had to go to work for 3 hours a week, and when he did, he receded to his office, his personal space, and always arrived around mid-morning, he'd said, because then he wouldn't have to really catch anybody in the hallway. And then he'd arrive home, his kids had graduated, and him and his wife seemed cool, but ultimately didn't seem excited about each other. And I sat and I thought about it, and I sat about it and thought about it again this morning as that video reminded me. I'll try to tag it. How lonely he was. And how deeply he craved financial protection over human connection. He was hedging himself from the world. From high-rise condos that oversee beautiful cityscapes and skylines. Alone. To walk into a Beverly Hills area-esque, but not in Beverly Hills because we're not doxing anybody, property that is filled with gardens, and it was lush. It had waterways in the property. You walked in and there was like glass in the center, and then on the left and the right, it wasn't even covered. You could have fallen in. Little rocks, water, fish. I think they were koi. Like, that's cool as hell. But they didn't do anything. They would go out to dinners. They would have nights in. But ultimately, if they weren't working, if they weren't still addicted to the grind, and at the very least they'd given up the grind, now they had hollowed themselves out socially for only financial gain. And I just ask, is the end goal of capitalism being a social outcast addicted to your own grind? And is it the result of having put your ego first for so long? For pushing the impoverished down further? For privatizing your gains and socializing all of your risk? The wage is not going up surely couldn't be the result of the multimillionaire CEO's decision making. It's funny how everything somehow ties back to, in my life, spirituality. That somebody chooses themselves for so long that at the end of the rainbow, they're blessed with the earthly ability to have as much self as they want. And you wonder why some are depressed. Many seeking more. Control. Power grids. I want to be a trillionaire. I want to run for president. I want to have control. It all comes down to money and power. And what I tell you right now is I think that there is a way to climb so far up this tree of life that you reach barren branches and there's no real way back down. Because there is no fruit in those people's lives. It seems empty. It seems routinely nihilistic. Routinely in this financial hunt for further security, to further optimize, to further beat out that next company, to wipe away the competition while also raising prices on your consumer. It's just this never-ending ether of greed that doesn't end till they die. And here's one little other fact I'll plug into this, and I want to just end this one. Just a quick little pre-gym rant. Mind if I take a sip of my pre-workout? This is me before the pre-workout. At 3 of those homes, I happened to find out that whether son or daughter, I was of similar age to their kids. 2 of which I became real cool friends with. One's a funny story because I'd actually met him prior, had no clue who he was, we just hit it off, and then when we see him there, we hit it off again, and he was like, oh, it's super cool that you were super cool with me before you knew I was super rich. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's happened with 2 different people. I won't shout out the other person because she probably doesn't want that. But regardless, you know what I got from, at the very least, the 2 relationships that I had with those 2 guys? Neither one of them wanted to pursue what their dad was doing. They wanted to go climb the mountain. They wanted to go see this country. They wanted to seek out deep relationships. They wanted to build themselves into a community of people that were like-minded. They wanted to grow themselves physically, mentally, spiritually. And they almost had no real lust for the lifestyle that was being portrayed to them. the one that was being modeled in front of them on a daily basis. They didn't seem to want it. Again, it all for me comes back to the spirituality. Just seems like we're in spiritual warfare. That true evil reigns. True evil has control. And many religious texts, the Bible included, prophesy this very fact, that we're going to reach a point where evil has control. We're in spiritual warfare when mammon is the cause of your poverty. You know what mammon is? Mammon is the love and the hoarding of money. It's greed, but a deep set personality trait greed. Not just, I was greedy. No, you are someone who has the spirit of mammon. And I think that spirit alone has ripped the cords out of the working class, has ripped the cogs out of the machine for the middle class American. We got to do something at some point about it, I feel. Because let me tell you one thing too, in a podcast I had yesterday, you can go check it out. It was with Tom Ferry. He's the #1 real estate coach on the planet. And I got to debate real estate housing affordability for Gen Z. It was an interesting conversation. But at one point, I should just let you listen to it because it's a good conversation, honestly. We disagreed on almost every single point right there on the podcast. We weren't shy about it. He brought up the ladder to success that he could take. He brought up housing affordability, the need or not need for college. But he also brought up his own coming up and what he did and how he got there. And he mentions the friend groups he had to change into and the multimillionaires and CEOs he hangs out with today. The point of it being, in some of those conversations he now has with these people he's been born and bred to grow in wealth with, one thing he said, guys, home prices are probably going up. This graph says anywhere between 6 and 27% over the next 4 years. And they say, so what you're telling me is I need to go buy a bunch more properties? You're telling me I need to go buy a bunch more rentals? He's like, yeah. And those microcosm conversations within wealth are what is draining the middle class dry of any access to any asset that could ever get your ass into a class you want to be a part of. I need to finish my pre-workout and get to the gym. Wow, I'm so in shape. Look at me. Fitness. Just keep standing. Yeah, that's about it. Keep your brain healthy. Keep your body strong. Pray. Read your word of choice. I love you. You're doing great.
Why the fuck does nobody care that our planet is literally being destroyed? Why can nobody see the correlation between capitalism and existence itself being wiped out? Do you understand how many animals have gone extinct since the Industrial Revolution? A crazy percentage. Do you understand that we have just reached a tipping point, a point of no return? The ocean water is so warm that coral reefs can no longer thrive. And do you know how much oxygen that these coral reefs provide for us? The algae that live inside these coral reefs provide up to 50% of the Earth's oxygen, okay? And you know what provides the other part of the Earth's oxygen? Forests and trees. And you know what capitalism thrives on? Deforestation. Warming these fucking temperatures. You know that in 2017, there's a study that showed 100 companies are responsible for 71% of global carbon emissions. That was in 2017. I guarantee it's a lot fewer companies now, and I guarantee it's a lot more emissions, okay? All this carbon footprint and not littering and recycling, all that shit is fine and dandy. Good. Care for the planet on your own individual level. But I'm not blaming you. It is these corporations. It is these greedy ass fucking CEOs that just want more profit at the expense of our planet, at the expense of existence. Capitalism is not sustainable. Can you guys please understand that? As fucking tragic as it is, this is not just about polar bears dying, or this is not just about marine life dying. This is about everything that we know to be life in the universe ceasing to exist because of corporate greed, because of capitalism, because of these corporations that are raising the global temperatures.
Can someone please tell me what there is to look forward to in this country anymore? I mean, really, is there anything good left? We have the executives of the companies making our food telling us to our face that the food they make is practically inedible, right? Our movies and TV shows are being congregated under one or two companies who are completely hell-bent on making the viewership experience as horrible as possible and destroying movie theaters. We don't even make good cars anymore. The cars we build here are cheaply made, yet somehow they cost you an arm and a leg, probably 2 legs. And the same goes for our houses. TikTok is pretty good because it's owned by China. Now American company like Oracle wants to take it over. Who wants Oracle in charge of TikTok? Really, who wants this? I'd say we value nature, you know, we have some pretty good national parks, but I feel like every single year the national park faces a 50% budget cut. Every year, no matter who's president, they're trying to kill the national park system for some reason. Our cost of living is higher than ever. It is almost impossible to buy the things you need, live the place where you need to live, get where you need to go on any kind of reasonable salary. Our healthcare sucks. It's wildly expensive, if you're even able to get insurance, which is also wildly expensive. Our infrastructure sucks. You can't get anywhere without having to drive 30 minutes in your cheaply made, expensive car. I know this is a doomer take, but I mean, what else is there, really? If anyone has something, please tell me.
I don't think non-Americans understand just how much Americans are being sold to all of the time, like constantly, relentlessly. Because even just the last few days, I've been walking around going, what is going on here? I think we all know and understand that America is essentially the home of capitalism, fine, but I think I wildly underestimated it, like wildly, because when I come to the States, I'm always on holiday, you know, New York, New Orleans, California, I've been all over, but I've always been here as a tourist, and so you expect a level of selling, right? You're a tourist, you're moving with a bit of purpose, you're doing the landmarks, you're kind of on the move. But this trip is very much kind of different. As a lot of you know, I'm here to see someone. I'm not going to get into the details. So I'm kind of living alongside of her life. There's time in the morning, like now when she's out at work, and I maybe move through the city. But even now, I'm doing my own work too. I've got stuff to do on here. And so we hang out a lot in the evenings, and we do the grocery stores. We do local walks. We watch movies at home. I'm moving like someone who lives here because I'm passing through it alongside her. And yeah, man, Americans are being sold to in a way that I've never really experienced in my life. At one point we're out and we're talking about streaming and she's complaining about the ads that come with streaming. And I'm like, yeah, ads are annoying, but we all grew up with ads. Terrestrial TV had ads, like we all just suffered with them. And she goes, no, Jamal, it's different, right? So then we sit down, we watch a movie on Amazon Prime, a service which she pays for, by the way, and within minutes I'm like, oh, this is kind of dystopian. Because they're not ads. They're micro shopping experiences. Like the movie just stops and a button pops up like, hey babe, while you're during this emotional climax of the movie, do you want to buy some fabric softener that will be delivered to you in the next couple hours? It's the low stakes version of, you know, in Ready Player One when they show you how many ads you can fit on the screen before the player will pass out. And then there's just like the roads, you know, just like you're driving along, the sheer size of corporate logos. In the UK, a Domino sign is a sign. I've never just seen the logo off on the side, bright like it's a bit of a monument. We drove past this one, right, and I'm looking at it going, I don't think I've ever seen that logo before. I've just never seen it that large and illuminated and standing all alone. UK logos exist, but they're not landmarks like this. Here, every chain looks like it's competing 5 meters after the next one. They're just competing with one another. It's not enough for you to know the brand. They want their light burned into your retinas. I swear if I lived here long enough, I could identify brands with my eyes closed just by the aggression of the glow. And then the grocery stores, like every time I go into one, someone's like, hey, we've got a deal on this. I'm already in the store. I'm already buying stuff. Why are you trying to sell me already? Let me breathe, love. Can I just pick up a basket? Can I just get a trolley? And then I saw one of my favourite content creators talking about the World Cup and how they're going to be doing 3-minute hydration breaks no matter what the temperature. In the World Cup, for people who don't know this, during the football, right, they do hydration breaks at the halfway point of a half, so like a quarter way through the game, because of the temperature of the stadium, of the country that they're in. Here in America, they're not worried about that at all. They're just like, no, we're doing it regardless, because they want to sell you on ads. I've heard people say that America isn't a country, it's a company. And honestly, I see it. Because it's everywhere. It's in every interaction. It's in the gap between the thoughts. It's in every patch of sky that can physically hold a billboard. But again, as I say, I've only ever been here as a tourist, really. And as a tourist, you expect to be sold to. But I didn't realize that that's what it was like for Americans here. Living a fraction of that life for a few days. Moving quietly through someone's like normal routines. It hits you differently. And I'm so intrigued to hear from Americans, like, what is that doing to you? Because I don't think I've ever experienced a culture that's so committed to turning every moment of stillness into a transaction. And it's funny because it's not the fault of Americans, it's the fault of corporations. Americans haven't asked for this. Like, what does that feel like? Every silence is an ad. Every breath is an opportunity to buy something. And like, I really hope this doesn't come across judgmentally. I'm just shocked. I've never experienced this before. I think ultimately I'm realizing that I don't think the rest of us are realizing just how much noise you're all living with.
Profit comes before people under capitalism. Wars are fought over resources that fuel industrialization. People are forced into labor to make corporations rich. AI wastes millions of gallons of water a year so companies can hire less employees. Climate change threatens our future while billionaires live in luxury. Food is thrown away while people starve. Houses are empty while people sleep on the streets. Medicine is limited to the people that can afford it. Education is locked behind a paywall. The system thrives on exploitation and greed.
50 years, 7-Eleven. Yeah. Wow, 50 years. Anything to say? Well, congratulations, man. Thank you.
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or?
Yeah, I don't have enough income.
Veteran Ed Bambus is still working at a Meijer supermarket in Detroit at 88 years old.